So while the totems are being removed from the game, and understandably a lot of reboot players have been concerned with how to grind off totem, whether progression is even gonna be possible off totem. Now, I have a lot of experience grinding off totem. I've been playing for the past 5 years without ever using a single totem. I also used to play KMS back in the Naver days. And even though I don't really know Korean, from my Maple knowledge from KMS, I can look for KMS rotations on YouTube, and I can see what kind of maps people grind in a meta where totems never existed. Now, if there's a region that has optimized off totem grinding, it has to be KMS. They've been around the longest, and they've never had any kind of spawn enhancer. It's the upstream original version of the game. So I just want to share with you all my off-totem grinding knowledge and what kind of maps are popular off-totem, what kind of maps I've seen being popular in KMS, and we're gonna take a look at some videos of rotations mainly from KMS. But first, we need to talk about mob spawn mechanics. So the base spawn timer is 7560 milliseconds, 7560 milliseconds. So you can imagine this 7.5 second timer ticking in a loop, and every time it completes, every time it procs, all the spawn points in the map are gonna spawn up to one mob and no more than one mob. Up to the capacity of the map, which is a fixed amount of mobs that can be in the map at once. So what that means is if the capacity is higher than the number of spawn points, then your kill rate is gonna be limited by the number of spawn points, because if you're full clearing, then it's never gonna reach the capacity, because each spawn point is not gonna spawn more than one mob. If the capacity is lower than the number of spawn points, then it's gonna be limited by capacity. And you can calculate the maximum theoretical kill rate pretty simply. You just do 3600 divided by 7.56 multiplied by the number of spawn points or the capacity, whichever is lower. Now this is assuming you're full clearing. Obviously, some maps you just cannot full clear. And there's also a few exceptions that kinda get weird. So for example, the Tranquil Urdas in Vanishing Journey, when you kill them, they spawn a Lantern Urda. And the spawn count in those maps is very low, it's like 15 mobs or something. But because of the Lantern Urdas, after the first spawn cycle that you clear, you're gonna leave behind a bunch of Lantern Urdas, and that's probably enough to reach the map capacity. I'm not entirely sure. But basically calculating the theoretical kill rate for those maps is a bit weird. Spawn is gonna be evenly distributed across all the spawn points, so if you always kill the same spot in the map and you don't kill everything else, there's gonna be less and less mobs in your spot and more mobs everywhere else. Now a key thing to understand here is that you're gonna have a specific movement cycle, or maybe more than one. So for example, you might go left to right and then right to left, or maybe you might go in a U-shape back and forth. If you wanna be optimal, you really wanna sync up each one of those cycles to the spawn cycle, so to the 7.5 seconds timer. And the reason for that is, let's say you're doing a left to right and right to left rotation. So you're halfway into going from left to right and the mobs respawn behind you because you didn't sync it with the spawn timer. You're gonna continue going right and continue killing mobs all the way to the right side of the map, but all those mobs that respawned behind you when you were in the middle of it, they're not gonna die, and now mobs are gonna respawn, and those mobs that you didn't kill behind you are wasted kills. So you didn't full clear this one wave of mobs. And each wave that's not synced with your movement cycle, you're probably not gonna full clear. Not to mention, you're gonna be waiting for spawn way longer if you do that, because if the mobs respawn halfway into your movement cycle instead of at the start of it, then you have to wait way longer for the next wave. And if you try to start your next movement cycle, then you're probably not gonna have enough time to get to the end of it by the time the mobs respawn again. This is especially bad if you have big mobbing cooldowns that you really wanna use when all the mobs are there and you can't use them every cycle, or maybe if you have skills that need mobs to be there to work. This issue is not so bad on a circular rotation, but it does make the rotation a lot less consistent. So what this means is the sweet spot is to find a map where you can full clear each spawn wave slightly faster than the spawn timer, so you're not sitting there waiting for spawn for like 5 seconds, but you're also not constantly missing the spawn timer. And it's also very important when you make mistakes in your rotation, which you will make, you need to prioritize making that spawn timer. So you need to prioritize getting to the end of your movement cycle before the mobs respawn, rather than going back and killing those mobs that you missed. So if you have backup skills like the Siren skill or the Wheel skill or some FMA that you can use to make up for that mistake, then go ahead, but do not miss your movement cycle because of a couple mobs that you missed. After looking into these mob spawn mechanics and understanding them, an interesting thing I noticed is that spawn enhancers are still limited by the amount of spawn points. So if you're full clearing a map on Frenzy, although it's very unlikely for you to full clear unless it's a very small map, you're still only getting as many kills per cycle as there are spawn points, even though the capacity is way higher. But the thing is, when you're not full clearing on spawn enhancers or higher capacity than spawn points, then it's not as bad as going from full clearing to not full clearing on a lower capacity. Because the mobs from the previous spawn wave are gonna carry over to the next spawn wave because you didn't full clear it. But because the capacity of the map is so high with spawn enhancers, way more of the spawn points are gonna spawn mobs. And so you're always gonna have a lot of mobs in the map at any given time. And I even verified this. I took a look at some CLP Frenzy grinding videos. Now CLP is not the best map, but it's a really easy map to full clear on Frenzy, so it's a good test for that. And what I saw is that they were only getting 20 kills per cycle as expected, which is the same as on base spawn, except their cycles are much faster. So this demonstrates that when you're full clearing, it's unaffected by the higher capacity. So we're gonna take a look at what maps are popular in the no spawn enhancers meta. It's mainly KMS videos, but there's also a few videos from myself, just to show that GMS spawn rate is exactly the same as KMS, and you can achieve the same kill rates. Now we're not gonna get into the details of these rotations, because every class is unique, every rotation has its own quirks, but I have compiled a list of rotation videos, which you can find in the description below, which links to full videos for many classes. This video is more intended to be a general overview of what maps people grind off Totem. Keep in mind that these rotations are close to optimal, they have vac pads, they're one-shotting, and also it's very short BAs which can be inflated very easily. So the actual kill rates that you're gonna sustain over many hours of grinding are gonna be lower. And even if you don't have a vac pad, a lot of these maps can work. So every 2 minutes you would have a loot rotation, and you would sacrifice a little bit of kill rate to loot. I don't have a whole lot of footage without VACPAT right now because most people in KMS have a VACPAT. Even in Reboot, a lot of these videos have VACPATs, but I might try to make videos of no VACPAT rotations in the future. Either way, I would try these maps even if you can't full clear or if you don't have a VACPAT and see if you can make them work with some effort. So Vanishing Journey, you have Hidden Lakeshore, that's the best map by far. 35 mobs, that's a maximum kill rate of 16.6k roughly. Most classes are not gonna be able to full clear this. The only class I've seen come close to that is Shadower, but even Shadower kinda struggles to clear all the mobs. But even if you don't full clear, you're gonna get a really good kill rate most of the time. So if you have the damage to one-shot here, I would definitely pick this map over anything else. Now the thing is, this is a high arcane force map, so a brand new player probably not gonna be able to one-shot. One thing to note about this map is there's a portal in the bottom right that brings you to the bottom left. If you have a summon or anything that can clear the bottom middle, then you can use this portal to make your movement cycle shorter. Next up is Hidden Cave. This is also a high arcane force map, so again, if you're a brand new player, you might not be able to one-shot. Very weird map layout. I've only seen Nightlord full clear this, but it's a decent alternative to Hidden Lakeshore if that really doesn't work well for you. The maximum kill rate for this is 13.8k. I've seen people get anywhere between 12 and 13k. Next up is Below the Cave. Very popular map even in the Spawn Enhancers meta. Extremely simple layouts. Basically any class can just go in a straight line and full clear this. I believe the mob cycle to be between 25 and 26 mobs per cycle, but it's really hard to tell because of the whole spawning lanterns mechanic. Most people get 12k kills here. Next up is Eastern Cave Path 2. I've only really seen a lot of rotation for this, which is really interesting. They use the stream summon to go back and forth and full clear. Mob count is the same as below the cave. And finally we have Western Cave Path 2, which also has the same mob count as below the cave, and I found an Adele video getting 12k kills. For Chu Chu Island we have Mottled Forest 2. That's the best map by far. It works great for most classes. It has two portals at the bottom. Bottom right brings you to the top left, and bottom left brings you to the top right. So if your class is not able to rotate this in a U shape, you can kinda just drop down and walk your way down to the next portal, and go in kind of a cross shape. The mob count for this map is 33, which means that if you full clear, you get 15.7k. If your class has any kind of summon, you should be able to place it on either the top right or the top left, so that it clears the 3 platforms. So for example, the new Erda Shower summon is gonna be able to do that. The Thief Dark Flare is also able to do that. So if you're able to do this, then your rotation is gonna be L-shaped, and there's gonna be less movement. Next up we have Within 5 Color Hill. It's a 30 mobs map. Full clearing this yields you 14.28k kills. I've seen Lara grind this with the stream technique. I've seen Corsair get 14k here. Should be a decent alternative to Mottled Forest 2 if it's full or if you're not able to make it work. Next we have Torrent Zone 3. This map was very popular in KMS, it probably still is, because of the lazy grinding style of just letting the water move you. Now the kill rate here is not gonna be great, there's only 28 mobs, so a full clear would yield you 13.3k. But the EXP per mob is higher, so if you don't really care about drops or Meso, then this is a great alternative to Mottled Forest 2. There's also Torrent Zone 1. Pretty much same concept as Torrent Zone 3, nothing much to say about this map, same mob count. So Yum Yum Island, there's actually no good mob count mobs, but if you only care about EXP, then Hidden Mushbud Forest and Hidden Iliad Field, the high Arcane Force maps, should work great, and the kill rate is about 11k, 24 mobs, so 11.4 if you full clear. Very simple layouts, should be easy to full clear. And really, if you only care about EXP, any high burning map in Yum Yum is gonna be fine, which is kinda what it's used for in KMS. Now for Lachelein, we have Chicken's Festival 3, best map by far, 38 mobs. If you can full clear this, you get 18k kills an hour, almost 18.1. And even if you can't full clear, you're probably gonna get a better kill rate than any other map in Lachelein. Most of the mobs in this map are in the top 2 platforms, so you should focus on clearing those over the bottom. Now if you can't make Chicken's Festival 3 work, there's a few alternatives. But even after the changes in Ignition that increase the mob count in some of these maps, the best mob count you're gonna be looking at outside of Chicken's Festival 3 is gonna be like 30 mobs. Occupied Dance Floor 2, Victory Plate Street 1 and 2. These maps are all 30 mobs, they're all very easy to clear for most classes. I've seen Lara and Nightlord full clear them. The kill rate is gonna be about 14k. And remember that these maps only get 30 mobs after Ignition, which also changes the layout a little bit. A few more alternatives that are really simple to grind but have really low mob count would be Outlaw Street 2, which I've seen Ice Lightning get 13.4k in, 29 mobs. and occupied dance floor 1 with 28 mobs, which I've seen many classes clear. Now Arcana used to be really popular on Totem, but off Totem it's not that amazing. There's only really two maps that I like. First one, which is my favorite, would be Where Water and Sunlight Meet. It has 33 mobs, full clear would be 15.7k. Very simple map layout, you can loot this without a Vagpat very easily. I've seen my friend MapleBench grind here and get 15.3k kills an hour on a Shadower. This map is also insane for Blaze Wizard, because you can throw your fireball up and then use the teleporter at the bottom left to go to the top right, and then the fireball is gonna go across the top. Most likely your rotation is gonna end up being U-shaped. The other map would be Deep in the Cavern Upper Path 1 or Decap 1. This appears to be a popular farming spot for zeros in KMS Reboot. You can use the drop-down teleport to do kind of a lazy rotation. I've seen Blaze Wizard and Zero full clear this. It's only 32 mobs though, so 15.2k is the best you're gonna see. Now Morass is where you really start getting a lot of high mob count mobs. Shadow Dance Hall 2 has 37 mobs, full clear would be 17.6k. This is a very popular map in KMS, at peak hours it's almost impossible to find a channel. Shadower absolutely destroys this map, even if you're not one-shotting with Masso Explosion you can still full clear it. I've seen Corsair get good rates here. My remastered Down Warrior in KMS was getting over 16k. I've seen Night Lord get up to 17k, Lara 17k. Most of the density in this map is on the left side, so you wanna really focus on those platforms if you can't really full clear. If you have a summon, you can either put it on the middle 3 platforms or on the bottom right to make your movement cycle easier. Now if you can't make Shadow Dance Hall 2 work, you can always try Shadow Dance Hall 3. It's a pretty similar map except that all the density is on the right side. I've seen Corsair get 17k here, I've seen Adele get 17k here, I've seen Shadower get close to full clear, I've seen Ilium do 16k, Wind Archer 16k, Evan close to 17k. It's a great alternative. It has the same mob count as Shadow Dance Hall 2, which is 37, and the maximum kill rate is 17.61k. Abandoned Area 2 has 37 mobs, up to 17.6k kills. I've seen Night Lord perform well here, Shade, Buccaneer was full clearing, Zero 17 plus k. The platform's layout in this map is very interesting, it's kind of a triangle, and classes like Buccaneer or Zero can kinda take advantage of this layout by working their way down or up these platforms. Abandoned Area 3 has 37 mobs, just like Abandoned Area 2. It's a decent alternative, but not as easy to full clear. I haven't seen anyone really full clear this. Most people just kind of ignore the right side of it, and they use the portal at the bottom to go to the top left. Most classes that perform well on this map get about 16k kills. It seems to be particularly good for Mercedes. Now if you can't make any of those mobs work, you can try that day in Traffic 3. It has 35 mobs. It's a pretty easy map for anyone to get decent kill rate in, but not easy to full clear. Most classes are gonna get like 15k here, even though the theoretical maximum is 16.6k. If you drop down at the bottom left, you're gonna respawn at the top right, so that's how most people rotate it. Esfera used to be the meta farming spot in KMS before Sellas existed. Most people would side farm in Radiant Temple 3 on Shadowers, but it's really not that popular anymore because the rotations are very difficult and Sellas is just way better. Radiant Temple 3 has 39 mobs, but again it's extremely difficult to full clear. Most classes I've seen getting like 15k, 16k. Shadowware does full clear this, but it's extremely difficult to do so. So probably don't expect to get 18.5k kills here unless you're a Shadower. Another decent map is Living Spring 6. It has 38 mobs, but you're not gonna be able to full clear this because of the weird layout. I've seen Cursor get 16.5k here and Hoyoung get 17k. Another advantage of this map is that it's low arcane force requirement. Now in Sellas you have an insane amount of choice for good maps. Final Edge of Light 6 is a very popular one. Most of the mobs are on the right side, so focus on that if you can't full clear. I've seen so many classes get good rates here. There are 38 mobs in this map, so the maximum kill rate is 18.09k. I've seen Night Lord basically full clear this. I've seen Fire Poison get like 17.7k. I've seen Wind Archer get 16.5k. I masso farmed here on my Shadower and with enough effort you can full clear. Maybe not sustainable for many hours, but you can definitely pull like 17.5 plus k. Plunging Depths 3 is another good option, 38 mobs. For some classes this is easier to full clear than Final Edge of Light. I've had good success with my Shadower. I've seen Corsair get 17k here, Night Lord 17.5k, Paladin 17.4k. Top left and top right are decent spots for summons. I think on my Shadower I was doing top right. Stars Wallowing Sea 6 is one of the highest kill rate maps in the game. It has 39 mobs, and I've seen Shadower full clear this, I've seen Remastered Down Warrior full clear this. The maximum kill rate is 18.57k. For a lot of rotations in this map, you have to stay on the middle platforms, which makes for slightly trickier platforming than other maps. Also, these are very high level mobs, and the arcane force requirement is much higher than previously mentioned maps, so you need to be quite strong to grind optimally in this map. Stars Wallowing Sea 3 has 38 mobs, so a maximum kill rate of 18.09k. I've seen Hoyoung get 18k here. I don't know how good it is for other classes. Final Edge of Light 9 has 37 mobs, and I've seen Wind Archer get 16.68k, I've seen Shadower get 17.5k, I've seen Phantom get 16k. The maximum kill rate would be 17.61k. Definitely not as easy as other Final Edge of Light maps, but viable if you put in the effort. Final Edge of Light 3 has 37 mobs. I've seen Corsair do 17.5k, seen Night Lord do 16.5k with 2-shot Assassin Mark. I've seen Shadower do 17.5k. It's a valid alternative to other Final Edge of Light maps, but you might need multiple summons to clear the top. The maximum kill rate would be 17.61k. For Moonbridge we have Last Horizon 6. That's the best map by far, extremely popular map in KMS. The map layout here is so good that even on Totem this was a really popular map, and even on Frenzy it's a popular map. I've actually seen a lot of Frenzy BA in this map almost full clearing, and I know a few people who farm this without VACPet and still manage to get 16k, 17k plus. There are 38 mobs in this map, the maximum kill rate is 18.09k. Overall a really good map that I would recommend to most classes. Rotation usually ends up being a rotated U-shape or just a circular rotation. Just in my current rotation list there are 4 classes full clearing this and 8 classes getting 17k plus. and I haven't checked many classes. Mysterious Fog 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum kill rate of 17.61k. Corsair can full clear this, or they can also do a lazy rotation and still get 15.5k. Mercedes can get 17.49k here. This map is amazing for Battle Mage as well, they get 17.5k. It's a solid alternative to Last Horizon if you can make it work. I've never tried this map myself, but it looks like it works best for teleport classes or classes with flexible movement like Mercedes. Mysterious Fog 5 has 35 mobs for a maximum kill rate of 16.66k. It's an acceptable alternative if you can't make any of the other maps work, and I've seen Ice Lightning get 16.44k here. In the Labyrinth of Suffering we have Core 6, very popular map in KMS, works great for many classes. There's a teleporter from the bottom left to the top right. I remember grinding here on my Dark Knight, and I think I was getting over 16k kills. I've seen Shadower full clear this, I've seen Corsair full clear this, I've seen Down Warrior get 16 plus k, I've seen Phantom get 16.4k, I've seen Adele full clear, I've seen Bowmaster full clear, I've seen Aran get 16 plus k. There are 35 mobs in this map, which means the maximum kill rate is 16.66k. In Core 4 we have 37 mobs, pretty difficult layout, but if you can make it work you can get up to 17.61k kills. And I've seen Shadower full clear this, Wind Archer getting close to full clear, Bowmaster getting over 16.6k. Core 5 is also an option, it's a lower mob count map, and some classes can do a lazy rotation here. I've seen Corsair get 15k plus, I've seen Blaster full clear, I've seen Zero full clear, I've seen Dual Blade full clear. I'm not 100% sure of the mob count in this map, but it certainly isn't 29 like the Korean website says. It might be 32 based on what kill rate people are getting. The Blaster video that's full clearing seems to indicate that it's 33, so I'm not 100% sure. Core 1 is another low mob count alternative. At 34 mobs you're not gonna see more than 16.19k kills, and I've seen Kinesis do a pretty lazy rotation here and get in 15.4k. Now Limina off Totem doesn't have the best kill rates, but it's still a very popular area because of the lazier rotations due to the map layouts. End of the World 1.7 has 34 mobs, and 34 mobs is the highest mob count you're gonna see in Limina, at least on maps that are clearable. Now this layout is not the best, but many classes can make it work and get over 15k. Some classes can full clear, for example Night Lord and Paladin. Not the laziest map, but it's also a high arcane force map, so that means the EXP per mob is much higher. The maximum kill rate for this is 16.19k. End of the World 1.6 also has 34 mobs, also caps out at 16.19k kills. There's a hidden portal at the bottom right that brings you to the top right, and then if you take the top right portal it's gonna take you to the top left. Kind of a goofy layout, but it kinda works if you use the portal, and it's pretty lazy too. I've seen Pathfinder full clear, I've seen Buccaneer get 16 plus k, I've seen Arc get 16 plus k, it's a solid map. End of the World 2.5 has 32 mobs, extremely popular map on Totem, still popular off Totem. The maximum kill rate is 15.23k, so not the best kill rate, but it's extremely lazy and basically every class can full clear this easily. It's also extremely easy to loot without a vac pet, without sacrificing any kill rates. This map is actually where I farmed Maso for my vac pet in regular server. So I Maso farmed over 30 bill on my Dark Knight here, without using a vac pet. End of the World 2-4 has 32 mobs for a maximum of 15.23k. I've seen Ice Lightning full clear this, and I imagine any class that can take the top with a summon or get to the top quickly can full clear this. End of the World 2-6 has 31 mobs, and I've seen a Phantom get 14k here. Now the kill rate is quite low, but it's a high Arcane Force map, so if you can't make anything else work or everything else is full, this is a valid alternative if you only care about EXP. Midpoint 1 is a 35 mobs map with a maximum kill rate of 16.66k. The midpoint maps are very vertical and they seem to work well for teleport classes. I've seen Fire Poison get close to 15k here with a very lazy rotation. I've seen Evan get over 16k with a very lazy rotation. Midpoint 2 clocks in at 34 mobs for a maximum of 16.19k, and I've seen a Shadower get 15.7k with a lazy rotation here. Midpoint 3 also clocks in at 34 mobs for a maximum of 16.19k, and I've seen a Bishop get 16k here. Midpoint 4 at 34 mobs, 16.19k. I can see this map working for lazy-ish drop-down rotations maybe. In Cernium we have Western City Ramparts 3 with 38 mobs for a maximum of 18.09k. I've seen Bishop, Ilium, Kinesis get over 17k, and I've seen a bunch of other classes pull 15 plus k. Most classes are gonna go in either a U-shape or a circle. Eastern City Ramparts 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum of 17.61k. I've seen Hero get 17k here, I've seen Shadower full clear. Not the best layout, but if you can make it work, the mob count is good. Eastern City Ramparts 2 clocks in at 33 mobs. Not a very high mob count, but it's a much simpler layout that works for many more classes. I farmed on my Dark Knight in this map, and it was a quite comfy rotation. U-shape or circle rotation work well here. Library Section 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum of 17.61k. Pretty difficult layout to deal with. I don't know if anyone can full clear, but I've seen Mechanic get over 15.4k kills. Library Section 1 has 33 mobs, and it's a decent lower mob count alternative if you can't make other mobs work. I've seen Adele and Hero get 15.5k here. Maximum kill rate would be 15.7. Library Section 4 has 33 mobs, and it's also a lower mob count alternative. I've seen Battle Mage get 15.5k, and I've seen Night Lord full clear. Library Section 6 has 37 mobs and maxes out at 17.6k. I've seen Night Lord and Kaiser get 16 plus k here. Rocky Overlook 2 has 33 mobs for a maximum of 15.7k. It's a lower mob count alternative if you can't make any other mobs work. I've seen Demon Slayer get 15.5k here, and Evan and Ark get over 15k here. Rocky Overlook 3 has 38 mobs for a maximum of 18.09k. I've seen Shade do 17.6k kills an hour. I've seen Blaster do 15.9. I've seen Lara do 16k plus. The gaps make it kinda difficult to platform here, but it's a decent map. Rocky Overlook 4 also has 38 mobs for a maximum of 18.09k. I've seen Thunderbreaker pull 15.7k here, no idea if it works for any other class. For Burning Cernium, we have Library Section 6 at 38 mobs for a maximum of 18.09k. I'm personally not a fan of these library mobs because they have very small hitboxes and the layouts are kinda weird, but I have seen Kobe grind his Dark Knight here. I've seen Phantom get 17.9k here with a 3 seconds cooldown hut. I've seen Dual Blade pull over 16k with a 4 seconds hut. I've seen Hoyoung pull 16k. I've seen Kaiser pull 15.8k. I think Shadower could also do a decent job in this map. You probably wanna rotate this in either a circle or an L shape. Library Section 3 also has 38 mobs and maxes out at 18.09k. I've seen Blaster do 18k here. I've seen Adele do almost 17k. I've seen Buccaneer do over 16k. I've seen Phantom do 15k. I've seen Shadower do 16k plus with low damage. Just like Library 6, I would do a reverse C shape or a circle. Western Ramparts 3 has 38 mobs and caps out at 18.09k. Seems to be a nice map for Shadower, they can clear it in a U shape. There was a portal from the bottom right to the top left, although I don't really know how many rotations actually make use of this. I've seen many classes pull over 16k, Kinesis, Marksman, Kaiser, Arc, and I've also seen Wind Archer do 17k. Eastern Ramparts 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum of 17.61k. I've seen Shadower have success with this map, getting over 17.3k kills, even at seemingly pretty low damage. Warmaso Explosion was basically useless. I believe I've seen Dark Knight do over 16k here doing a U shape, but I can't find the video anymore. Eastern Ramparts 6 also has 37 mobs, also caps out at 17.61k, and I've seen Kinesis do 16.5k here. Weird platform layout, but Kinesis can mostly ignore it by just staying in the middle, and I imagine Marksman could do that as well. Ramparts 4 has 37 mobs as well for 17.6k kills maximum. I've seen Shadower get 16.3k with low damage. I've seen Lumi basically full clear this with the new and improved reflection. Kinesis also did above 16k here. In Hotel Arcus, we have Wasted 4 at 38 mobs for a maximum of 18.09k. Many classes can pull over 17k kills here. I've seen Mechanic, Marksman, Ice Lightning, Bishop, Lumi, Thunderbreaker, Kane. All these classes have done over 17k. Wastes 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum of 17.6k. This is a valid alternative to Wastes 4 if it's full or if you can't make it work. I personally grind here on my Dark Knight and I love it. I get about 16.7k kills an hour peak, usually more like 16.5, 16.4. I've seen Fire Poison do 17k here, I've seen Shadower do 16.5k with low damage. I've seen Corsair get 17k. I personally choose to stay here over going to the train mobs because the mob count is much higher. And because I'm optimizing for massive farming rather than EXP, this is just better. There's a portal at the bottom right that brings you to the top right. That can be useful if you're doing a circle rotation. I think it's okay even for a U rotation. Theodore 6 has 38 mobs and maxes out at 18.09k. I've seen Mercedes do 15.5k here, I've seen Adele do 15.5k. I've seen Kane and Blaster do over 17k. I've seen Thunderbreaker do over 17k. I've seen Mechanic full clear this with a lazy rotation. I believe Crane also grinds here on his Hoyoung. Theater 3 has 37 mobs for a maximum of 17.6k, and I've seen Lara get 17.25k. The platform layout doesn't seem too great, I don't know if any other class can make it work. Train 1 has 33 mobs for a maximum of 15.7k. The train mobs have higher EXP per mob, so if you're focusing on EXP, you should probably go here. But do your own BA and compare. I've seen Bishop and Zero full clear this, I've seen Night Lord get 15k with low damage, I've seen Fire Poison full clear. It's a pretty simple mob to clear. You can mostly just go in a circle. Train 3 has 35 mobs for a maximum of 16.66k. Pretty difficult layout to deal with, but if you can make it work, the kill rates are great. I've seen Bishop get 16.5k, Lumi getting 16.3k, Hoyoung 15.5k, Arc 15.7k, Phantom 15k, Dark Knight 15k with a 5 seconds hut. Probably the best map at base spawn for pure EXP if you can make it work in Arcus. Train 4 maxes out at 33 mobs 15.7k. I've seen Wild Hunter full clear this, and Cadena and Dark Knight get over 15.5k. Finally, Theater 1 is a decent low mob count alternative if you can't make anything else work. At 33 mobs it maxes out at 15.7k, and I've seen Bishop, Hoyoung, Dual Blade, Cannon Master all get over 15k here. Whether you agree or not on removing totems, the fact is a lot of people are gonna have trouble adapting to this change. So at the very least, I hope this helps you see the silver lining and learn how to grind off totem a little bit. I wanna thank all the players who upload the rotations to YouTube. It was instrumental for this video. I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/lollysamurai, so come hang out if you feel like it, and I will see you on the next one.